Good morning. Today we will discuss regarding displacement transducers or sensors. So the difference between sensor and transducer is a sensor is a device that detects a change in a physical stimulus and turns it into a signal which can be measured or recorded. And transducer is a device that transfers power from one system to another in the same or in the different form. So the transducer is any device that converts energy in one form to another energy. The majority either convert electrical energy to mechanical displacement or convert some non electrical physical quantity such as temperature, sound, or light to an electrical signal. So, the sensor for the sensing element itself and transducer for the sensing element plus any associated circuitry. All transducers would thus contain a sensor, and most sensors would also be transducers. So, functions of transducer. So, first function is to sense the presence, magnitude, change in, and frequency of some measurand. Measurand means it is a quantity that to be measured. And second function is to provide an electrical output that, when appropriately processed and applied to readout device, gives accurate quantitative data about the measurand. So measurand means it refers to the quantity, property or condition which the transducer translates to an electrical signal. Now different types of transducers are temperature transducers, resistive position transducer, capacitive transducer, inductive transducer, strain gauge, LVDT, piezoelectric transducer. Now, in this lecture, we will discuss regarding displacement, position, and proximity sensors. So, displacement sensors are concerned with the measurement of the amount by which some object has been moved. Position sensors are concerned with determination of the position of some object with reference to some reference point. And proximity sensors are a form of position sensors and are used to determine when an object has moved to within some particular critical distance of the sensor. So when selecting these sensors, it is essential to care of the size of the displacement, nature of the displacement, the required resolution and accuracy, then the material of the measured object and the cost. Now displacement and position sensors can be grouped into two basic types. First is contact sensors and second is non-contacting sensors. So regarding contact sensors, in this the measured object comes into mechanical contact with the sensor. For those linear displacement methods involving contact, there is usually a sensing shaft which is in direct contact with the object being monitored. The displacement of this shaft is then monitored by a sensor. The movement of the shaft may be used to cause changes in electrical voltage, resistance, capacitance, or mutual inductance. For angular displacement methods involving mechanical connection with the rotation of the shaft might directly drive through gears rotation of transducer elements. Now second is non-contacting sensors. So in this there is a no physical contact between the measured object and the sensor. So non-contacting sensors might involve the presence in the vicinity of the measured object, causing a change in the air pressure in the sensor, or perhaps a change in inductance or capacitance. Now, displacement sensors, different types of displacement sensors. So, measurement of displacement is the basis of measuring the position, velocity, acceleration, stress, force, pressure, proximity, thickness. So, following are the main categories of the displacement transducers. First is potentiometer, second strain gauges, third inductive sensors, LVDT. Fourth is capacitive sensors, fifth is piezoelectric sensors, and sixth is ultrasonic displacement sensors. Now, first type of displacement sensor is the potentiometer sensor. The potentiometer consists of a resistance element with the sliding contact which can be moved over the length of the element. Such elements can be used for linear or rotary displacement, the displacement being converted into potential difference. So you can see the diagram. So resistive position transducer, that is potentiometer. The principle of resistive transducer is that the physical variable under measurement causes a resistance change in the sensing element. The change in the value of the resistance with a change in the length of the conductor can be used to measure the displacement. So potentiometer, it is a three-terminal resistor with the sliding contact that forms an adjustable voltage divider, and it is used to convert rotary or linear displacement to a voltage. So resistance value can also be converted into a voltage. So you can see there are two types of potentiometers. First is linear potentiometer and second is rotary potentiometer. So this is a linear potentiometer. Basically, a resistance potentiometer, or simply a pot, a resistive potentiometer used for purposes of voltage division is called a pot, POT. Consists of resistive element provided with sliding contact. This sliding contact is called a wiper. So you can see at the bottom there is a diagram. There is a shaft, and to the shaft the wiper, it is attached. Then there is a mandrel over which the resistance wire, that is wound. The motion of the sliding contact may be translatory or rotational. The translational resistive elements are straight devices and have a stroke of 2 mm to 0.5 meter. The rotational devices are circular in shape and are used for measurement of angular displacement from 10 degree to 357 degree. The resistive body of a potentiometer may be wire wound. A very thin 0.01 mm diameter of platinum or nickel alloy is carefully wound on an insulated former. If the track, that is mandrel, has a constant resistance per unit length for linear pot, then the output voltage is proportional to the displacement. If the track has a constant resistance per unit length, that is per unit angle, then the output is proportional to the angle through which the slider has rotated for rotary pot. So this is also another diagram of rotary potentiometer. So resistive material has a uniform resistivity so that the ohms per inch value along its length is constant. Then advantages of potentiometers. they are inexpensive, it is simple to operate, then they are useful for the measurement of large amplitudes of displacement, and electrical efficiency is very high. And disadvantages are, when using linear potentiometer, a large force is required to move the sliding contacts, and second, the sliding contacts can wear out, become misaligned and generate noise. Then second type of displacement transducer is strain gauge or strain gauge element. The strain gauge is an example of a passive transducer that uses electrical resistance variation in wires to sense the strain produced by a force on wires. The electrical resistance strain gauge is a metal wire, metal foil strip, or a strip of semiconductor material which is a wafer like and can be stuck onto surfaces like a postage stamp. When subject to strain, its resistance R changes. The fractional the fractional change in resistance, that is delta R by R, being proportional to strain. Since strain is the ratio, that is change in length upon original length, then the resistance change of a strain gauge is a measurement of the change in length of the element to which the strain gauge is attached. So bonded type strain gauges are three types: wire strain gauges, foil strain gauges, and semiconductor strain gauges. So see, you can see the diagram of bonded strain gauges. So you can see the diagram. On the top you can see there is a tension. If there is a tension, it causes resistance increase, and compression causes resistance decrease, and that change in resistance that can be measured, and that is calibrated in terms of displacement, so that you can measure the displacement. Another strain gauge elements that you can see, the metal wire type, then the metal foil type strain gauges that you can see in a diagram, then the strain gauges, another different types of strain gauges that you can see, how the strain gauges that are mounted on a different elements that you can see, when the flexible element is bent or deformed as a result of forces being applied by a contact point being displaced, then the electrical resistance strain gauges mounted on the element are strained, and so gives a resistance change which can be monitored. A change in resistance is thus measure of the displacement or deformation of the flexible element. So first diagram that you can see, so there is a cantilever. On a cantilever, the strain gauges that are mounted. So one form of displacement center has a strain gauges attached to a flexible element in the form of cantilevers, rings, or U shapes. So you can see the three diagrams A, B, C. So when the flexible element is bent or deformed as a result of forces being applied by the contact point being displaced, then electrical resistance strain gauges mounted on the element are strained, and it will give a resistance change which can be monitored. The change in resistance is thus measure of the displacement or deformation of the flexible element. Then the advantages of strain gauges. So it have a high gauge factor, and due to that it allows measurement of very small strains. in the order of 0.01 microns. Hysteresis characteristics of semiconductor strain gauges are excellent. Frequency response of 12 raised to 12 hertz and a very small in size. So disadvantages, they are very sensitive to change in temperature. Then linearity of semiconductor strain gauges is poor and it is more expensive. Then third type of displacement sensor is the capacitive element. So capacitive transistors are commonly used for measurement of linear displacement. So this transistor use the following effect. First, change in capacitance due to change in resistance, change in distance between the two plates. So you can see the first diagram. And second, change in capacitance due to change in overlapping area of plates. So you can see the second diagram. So these are the two effects that are considered in a capacitive element. So first is change in capacitance due to change in distance between two plates, and second is the change in capacitance due to change in overlapping area of the plates. So this change in capacitance that can be calibrated in terms of displacement. So the figure A, that is one is fixed plate and the displacement to be measured is applied to the other plate which is movable. So you can see the first diagram A. The capacitance C varies inversely with the distance D between the plates. The response of this transducer is not linear. Thus, this transducer is useful only for measurement of extremely small displacement. In figure B, the change in the capacitance is directly proportional to the area A of the plates. It is an overlapping area. Thus, the capacitance changes linearly with the change in area of the plates. Hence, this type of capacitive transducer is useful for measurement of moderate to large displacement from 1 mm to several centimeters. So you can see the first type of capacitive element, that is change in capacitance or change in capacitance that can be measured due to the change in distance between the two plates. Then it is a rotary plate capacitor or for angular displacement. So it is a capacitive element for angular displacement. The principle of change in capacitance with change in area can be employed for measurement of angular displacement. So figure shows one plate is fixed and the other is movable. The angular displacement to be measured is applied to the movable plate. The angular displacement changes the effective area between the plates and thus changes the capacitance. The variation of capacitance with angular displacement is linear. So the capacitance is maximum when the two plates completely overlap each other, that is when theta is 180 degree. Thus it is used for measurement of maximum angular displacement of 180 degree. Then advantages: it has an excellent frequency response and can measure both static and dynamic phenomena. And disadvantages: sensitivity to temperature variation and the possibility of erratic or distortion signals owing to long lead length. Then linear variable differential transformer, that is LVDT. So the transformer consists of a single primary winding P, and two secondary windings S1 and S2 wound on a cylindrical former. The secondary windings have equal number of turns and are identically placed on either side of the primary winding and connected in series. So you can see the diagram here. So same diagram that you can watch. The primary winding is connected to an alternating current source. A movable soft core or soft iron core is placed inside the former. So you can see at the middle there is a soft iron core. The displacement to be measured is applied to the arm attached to the soft iron core. The assembly is placed in a stainless steel housing. Since the primary winding is excited by an alternating current source, it produces an alternating magnetic field, which in turn induces alternating current voltages in a two secondary windings. The output voltage of secondary S1 is ES1 and that of secondary S2 is ES2. In order to convert the outputs from S1 and S2 into a single voltage signal, the two secondaries S1 and S2 are connected in series opposition. Thus, the output voltage of the transducer is the difference of the two voltages. Now, when the core is at its normal, that is null position, the flux linking with both the secondary windings is equal and hence equal EMFs are induced in them. So, thus ES1 is equal to ES2. Therefore, output voltage E0 that will be equal to ES1 minus ES2 equal to 0 at null position. So, the core when at the middle of the core, middle of the winding. Now, if the core is moved to the left of the null position, more flux links with the winding S1 than S2. Accordingly, output voltage ES1 of S1 is greater than ES2 of coil S2, secondary coil S2. Therefore, E0 equal to ES1 minus ES2, that is in phase. Similarly, core is moved to the right, then E0 equal to ES2 minus ES1. So it is out of phase 180 degree. Thus, amount of voltage change in either secondary winding is proportional to the amount of movement of the core. So that positions, the core is at A, then B, the core is at O, that is null position, and core is at B, that is moved to the right, that is shown. That three positions of core or movement of core, that is shown. So advantages: the output voltage of the transducer is practically linear for displacement up to 5 mm. Then infinite resolution, high output, high sensitivity, then less friction, low hysteresis, low power requirement. That these are the advantages of LVDT. Disadvantages: large displacements are required for appreciable differential output and they are sensitive to stray magnetic fields. So, but shielding it is possible. The dynamic response is limited and temperature also affects the transducer. Now, next type of displacement transducer is the optical encoders. So, there are two types: absolute digital optical encoder and incremental digital optical encoders. An encoder is a device that provides a digital output as a result of linear or angular displacement. So there are two basic styles of optical encoders, incremental and absolute. So the first type, it is a incremental or first is the absolute or digital optical encoders. So it produces angular position data directly in digital form, eliminating any need of ADC. The design is comprised of a code disk attached to the shaft. A light source and photocell arrangement are mounted so that the slots pass the light beam as a disk rotates. The angle of the shaft is deducted from the output of the photocell. So this is a absolute encoder. So it uses a glass disc marked off with a pattern of concentric tracks. A separate light beam is sent through each track to individual photosensors. Each photosensor contributes one bit to the output digital word. So the advantage of this encoder is that the output is in straightforward digital form. Then incremental encoder. So the basic form of an incremental encoder for the measurement of angular displacement, that is shown in a diagram. A beam of light passes through slots in a disc and is detected by the suitable light sensor. When the disc is rotated, a pulse output is produced by the sensor, with the number of pulses being proportional to the angle through which the disc rotates. Thus, the angular position of the disc and hence the shaft rotating it can be determined by the number of pulses produced since some datum position. So it is a simple rotary encoder, then quadrature encoder, binary encoder, that is shown, gray code encoder, and this is a table that is for 4-bit gray and natural binary codes. In that, the decimal code is given, then the rotational range in degrees that are given, then the binary code and the gray code that is used. This table that is used for in this optical encoders. So this is regarding the displacement transducers or sensors.